Hello, this is Isaiah Reports Football, and this is my 2026 World Cup Matchday 2 predictions. So let's begin. Starting off with Czech Republic versus South Africa. Regarding Czech Republic, their performance wasn't horrible against um, South Korea, but their game management, in my opinion, was pretty poor by conceding like those two South Korea goals in a short span of time. But they aren't a horrible team. Just like they didn't get destroyed, just like how South Africa did against Mexico in the opening game of the World Cup. So I think that um I think that Czech Republic will win just like how Mexico did. A very dominant display. Because I do think Czech Republic are a horrible team even though they lost against South Korea. And I do think they have enough quality to take care of South Africa. Next is Switzerland versus Bosnia. Switzerland, they got a surprise draw against Qatar. They should have won that game, in my opinion. They had multiple chances, but the Qatar goalkeeper was really good in that game. So Switzerland isn't like underperforming in the World Cup. I think they had multiple chances, but it wasn't their day. And regarding Bosnia, I think they're a very strong defensive team. Um, that rely on set pieces, which was seen against Canada. Um, and yeah, but I do think Switzerland will come back against a disappointing draw against Qatar. I do think Switzerland will win 1-0. Um, and yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bosnia gets a draw in that game either. But it will be tight. It will be close, very tight game. Next is Canada versus Qatar. Alfonso Davies will be fit and be available to play for Canada. Qatar was held on, but with their goalkeeper defensively, they were kind of shaky against Switzerland, but their goalkeeper was very impressive. We'll see if he's impressive again against Canada. Um, but I do think if Davies is starting or at least comes on in a good amount of time for Canada to perform for Canada, then I think they'll win 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, yeah, 2-0 Canada. Next is Mexico, South Korea. I think it'll be a very tight game, but Mexico's at home, and it's going to be very challenging for South Korea to play away against Mexico. Hopefully, South Korea could do something, since I hate Mexico. But sadly, I do think Mexico will win 2-1. And yeah. Next is my United States versus Australia. Australia had really had a good defensive display against Turkey, and United States had a really good attacking display against Paraguay. So which do I think will prevail, the attacking or the defensive side? I think we will win against Australia. I think 3-1. I think 3-1. We will win 3-1 against Australia. Scotland versus Morocco. Scotland's attack is horrible. Morocco, um, uh, might could might still concede against Scotland. Might against like a John McGinn goal or like a Scott McTominay goal. Well, like Scotland at least has one of those guys to score, but so I do think it will be a 2-1 win for Morocco. Brazil versus Haiti. Haiti had a respectable performance against Scotland, and they didn't get destroyed against Scotland. But Scotland again has a horrible attack compared to Brazil, who has a really better attack than Scotland. And Vinny's turned up against Morocco as well. So maybe I think it'll be 3. Do I see Haiti getting a goal against um Brazil? I don't know. Uh, Possibly, since they have Wilson Isidore and so on in their attack. I think 3-1. I think 3-1. I might give a goal to Haiti. I might give a goal to Haiti. Uh, Turkey versus Paraguay. Turkey wasn't horrible against Australia. They had some chances, but I don't think they've really broke down Australia like that. And then regarding Paraguay, they absolutely got destroyed against us. But I think we'll win. I think it'll be 2. Um, 2-1 Turkey. 2-1 Turkey. Netherlands versus Sweden. This game could go either way, really. Sweden's attack with Jokeres and Isak showed up against Tunisia. Yasin Ayari also had a really good display as well against Tunisia. Even though it's just Tunisia, but Sweden is, on paper has a good team, but we'll see if they could be defensively solid against Netherlands, who, doesn't really have too much in their attack. I think it's gonna be a fun game, to be honest. Maybe like a 2-2 again, just like how Netherlands drew 2-2 against Japan. So I'd say 2-2. I say 2-2. Germany versus Ivory Coast. I'm my This one's also a very tough game to predict because Ivory Coast, I really rate them. They played really well against Ecuador. They were able to break them down. They had chances, but they also gave chances away to Ecuador as well. But luckily enough, Ecuador doesn't really have good attackers, and they still rely on Ener Valencia. So I'll predict a two a, I think 3-1 Germany. A 3-1 Germany. Because Ivory Coast gave away chances, clear cut chances away to Ecuador, where in my opinion Germany would take those chances if it's not Sade, if it's like a Havertz or Dennis Undav, Musiala, Verts, giving those chances to those type of players is risky. Ecuador versus Kershaw. I do think Ecuador will win, but not big because of their attacking issues. So I give them a 2-0 win. I think they're defensively strong to contain Kershaw, but they're not going to destroy them attacking wise. Tunisia versus Japan. Tunisia just got Hervé Renard, who's a really good international manager, and Japan got a good 2-2 draw against Netherlands. I think it'll be a very interesting, fun game to watch since Hervé Renard is their manager for Tunisia, but he just came in a short amount of time to work with these players. So I think Hervé Renard was set a standard for Tunisia to not get destroyed. So I do think it will be like a 2-1 Japan win. Spain versus Saudi Arabia. Spain really struggled breaking down Cape Verde, and they were very lethargic. However, I do think they will win, but I don't think they will destroy Saudi Arabia, even because Saudi Arabia did give a good performance against Uruguay. So I think it will be a 2-0 win for Spain. Belgium versus Iran. I believe it will be a interesting game, end-to-end game, because I think both defenses that aren't perfect. But I do think Belgium has enough quality to win this game. I'm going to like a fun game this game. Where I think 3-2 Belgium. 3-2 Belgium. Uruguay versus Cape Verde. Cape Verde got a brilliant result against Spain and contained Spain, and Spain has obviously a better attack than Uruguay. So do I think they could do it again? Could they do something? I predict a 0-0 win. Sorry, 0-0 draw. I think Uruguay's attack is not that good, and I think Cape Verde could contain them again. So contain and have a clean sheet again against a team like Uruguay, which will be much easier to contain. New Zealand versus Egypt. I think it will be a 2-1 Egypt win. 2-1 Egypt win. I think New Zealand could get a draw against Egypt, but I feel like Egypt will just edge it out, in my opinion. Even though New Zealand gave a good account of themselves against Iran, I just think Egypt has slightly more quality, in my honest opinion. And yeah. Argentina versus Austria. Austria coming from a really good win against Jordan. However, it's just Jordan, and Argentina is, based on their win against Algeria, is up for it again and want to win this another back-to-back World Cups for Messi. So basically, I'll think I think Austria could get a goal, but I think it's gonna be 3-1 Argentina. France versus Iraq. Iraq gave a good performance against Norway, but defensively they got caught out. So and France scored a good amount of goals against Senegal. So I do think it will be. I think Iraq might get a goal 4-1 for France. Norway versus Senegal. I think it will be. This one's tough. This one's gonna be tough. Um. Ugh. Dang it. I think it will be. I think it's gonna be a 2-1 Norway. 2-1 Norway. Jordan versus Algeria. I think Jordan had a Jordan could do something. But I think it would be a tight win for Algeria. A 2-1 for Algeria. 2-1 for Algeria. Portugal versus Uzbekistan. Portugal were horrible trying to break down DR Congo, and Uzbekistan had a respectable performance against Colombia. I do think Portugal will win. I think it will be I think it will be pretty close, actually. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be 2-1 Portugal. 2-1 Portugal. England versus Ghana. Ghana defensively was very strong against Panama, and they won 1-0 against Panama as well. But this is England, though, and I feel like England's also shaky defensively. But so maybe I think it will be like a 3-1 England. 3-1 England. Panama versus Croatia. I think it will be. I believe Panama versus Croatia. I believe this will be uh, a 3-1 Croatia. I don't trust Croatia defensively keeping a clean sheet, but I do think but Panama really struggled breaking down. Really did struggle breaking down Ghana, though. So I think I'll make it 2-0 instead. 2-0 for Croatia instead. 2-0 Croatia. Finally, Colombia versus DR Congo. I think that will be a very, very interesting game. I'll just edge it out to Colombia. 2-1. 2-1, my final prediction. So yeah. So I'm excited for this match day 2 round for this World Cup, and hopefully the viewers are as well. I feel like these are very interesting matchups, and yeah, hopefully you like this video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.